Right, thank you. Um, and now I can make James co-host. There we go. He's co-host. Perfect. Thanks, Harry. Much appreciated.
Okay,
Enjoy
so
your day. Have a great day
okay,
today.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you. James, have you seen this particular one of snacks, simple snacks for children?
Well, I'm being with you regarding the two classes, one with the toilet paper rolls,
Mm-hmm.
and one I don't remember. This is going to be the third one.
The third one. Oh, well, the toilet paper rolls has changed as well. It's now become very much an adult toilet paper roll one. So if you get that one again, it'll be different. They all change all the time. I keep adding to them. So there'll be something different for you to see.
Exactly.
I never stick to just one thing. I keep changing my mind and thinking, oh no, this is better. And I then promptly do something different. So yeah, we've got lots of interesting things that we're going to do. So hopefully we've got about 4 people in class, but this morning I was supposed to have 9 and I ended up with 15. So you never know how many people you're
Exactly.
going to have. Start with 1. If nobody comes in, it's you and me, and we'll do it.
No problem with that.
We'll do our task together.
Sure.
Since we are live streaming. We should be starting in about 2 minutes. Let
Exactly.
me just close for a second. James, won't you press record when we start? I forgot early this morning. Can you do that for me?
Well, let me check it out for you. Well, I can do it. Do you want me
Yeah.
to do it now?
No. When we start, when the first people come into
Okay.
class and I'm starting to greet people, then you can, if you'll just press record for me, that
No
would
problem.
be great. Excellent. That just makes sure that I record, because
Exactly.
otherwise I'll be in trouble.
No,
I
you won't
sometimes
be.
forget. And then, oops, we
It
are.
happens, but not with
Oh,
me. I don't forget.
fantastic. You're a star. Yeah. I had just before you, I had Lester. He also doesn't forget. He's awesome too. I must say, everybody who is a TA are great. You're a really amazing bunch of people to work with. So it's awesome.
Well, the TA means the teacher's assistants.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you
And you
left,
are
we will be taking care of it. It's a
great.
teamwork.
This morning, for about 2 minutes in Michael's class, our internet went down. It only ever goes down for about 1 or 2 minutes, and even if it does go for longer, I've got a different internet, but it takes about a minute to come back up. So if you just ask the people to interact, if that does ever happen, we never know if the power will go, if the internet goes down. But I do have a backup, but it takes about a minute or so for it to click in.
Oh, that won't be a problem.
Thanks a lot. Just
You
so we
work.
always know that I'm trying to think of all the things that could just happen, and then it works, that we can back up and get going again.
Well, it is like that. Hope for better and prepare for the worst.
Oh yes, exactly. Absolutely. And 99.9% of the time, it's the best. So
Exactly.
we just go with that, and away we go. All right. It looks like we'll give them a few minutes to come in. Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll just begin with my sharing and doing, and whoever comes in, comes in.
Sure.
We'll have a look and see. I hope you're not hungry, because we're doing all sorts of snacks.
Let me enjoy by watching it.
So it'll have to all be in your mind, eating in your mind today.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. It's 1 minute past. I'll give them to 3 or 4 minutes past, and then we can start. And it'll be great to do today. We talk mainly about different ways of presenting easy food. It's not so much about there are certain recipes that I do, but it's how the food looks on the plate. And if the food looks exciting on the plate, then naturally the children want to eat it. So it's important, the presentation of food is just as important as the eating of it. If you get something
Exactly.
that looks like a doggy breakfast on your plate, you're not going to want to eat it.
Yeah.
So it's very important to make it look exciting. And it's so simple and so easy to change a banana into something exciting, or even an apple into something exciting. And then the children can make their own versions of things, um, out of things. So that's what we will see today. I think I'm going to share screen and start. Um,
Do you want me to start recording?
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
let's start recording. Right. Nice. Today we are doing the simple snacks for grandkids. It's very important when your grandchildren come to visit, and even when your friends come to visit, you are able to utilize what you've got in the kitchen and just make it look interesting. By turning some simple fruit into a picture, it can become a focal of talking point between you and your friends, or between you and your grandchildren. Just looking at the picture we've got here in front of us, we've got a beautiful palm tree on a beach. We had, I call it a nachi, you call it, I think, a tangerine, a banana, and some kiwi fruit. Now, if you just take those little pieces, place them carefully, chop up your banana, chop up your kiwi fruit, and bring that to the table, whether it's for your grandchildren or whether it's for your friends. Suddenly, everybody's interested in eating. Suddenly, there's something to talk about. Have you ever been to a beach? Would you like to go to a beach? What if it's grandchildren? Would a pirate go to this beach? What would he leave on the beach? He'd leave some treasure on the beach. And so you then use your imagination, and with your friends, you reminisce of places that you have been to. So it's a combination of working with our grandchildren and remembering and doing things from our past. Now, we learn from each other, and ideally, we can see people on camera. If not, it really doesn't matter if they interact. You can request a recording, and if you're joined by live streaming, the best way to participate and ask questions is to register for a class. Get Set Up isn't paid to promote any specific products. So if I mention anything, it's something I use. I live in Australia. I have been an educator for 44 years now and still continue to educate. I enjoy creating and making things, including puzzles. And I have a great love of animals. That's why I do my animal classes on the animals of Australia and the animals of Africa, because originally I come from Africa. I only moved to Australia 3 years ago. And I really enjoy being a Get Set Up guide and interacting with my peers. The most important thing when cooking with grandma is to have fun. It must never be stressful for either you nor the children you are cooking with. There are simple things to remember. The simpler the recipe, the better. Because if there's not a lot of ingredients, it's very easy to get it right. And don't stress if it doesn't go to plan and it doesn't taste the same. If they've made it, they are so proud of what they've made. Praise them for what they are doing. It's a time to talk, because if you ask them when they come home from school, how was school? Your answer will be fine. That's it. You might get one or two words out of them. But if when you are cooking and you ask the same question, suddenly the floodgates open and they tell you all sorts of things that happened at school during the last few days, or even just for the day that they've come to visit you. And that way they are totally at ease, and they are not thinking of what they should or shouldn't say. And this is a lovely time to bond and interact with them. If you are doing it as a virtual grandma or grandpa, just make sure that mum and dad on the other side have set up the same things so that you can work through Zoom or any of the other medias that you talk to your grandchildren on. And it's as if you're in the same room. You're making, they're making, and you are talking together. If they're little, they'll probably need mom or dad's help. My little grandson certainly does. He's still young, but he enjoys his time with grandma making and doing things. You need old clothes. They are essential. If you put on an apron, it covers the front very nicely. But what do they do with their hands that have got flour or anything on? They rub it on their bum because that's the easiest place to clean their hands. Now they go home with their shorts or their trousers or whatever, or dress covered with something, and you get into trouble. So take a dustbin bag, a yellow one or a white one or a pink one or a blue one. You get them in all colors. When I'm cooking, I always use white ones because a chef wears white. And you just cut a little piece at the top and slice it down the back, pop it over the head and make two little armholes. Now they are covered from head to toe, and it really doesn't matter how much gets on those. You just put them into soapy water, give them a rinse, hang them on the line, and use them again. But the most important thing to do is to have fun. That is vital. So enjoy your grandchildren. Feeding our kids snacks is a serious thing to do. It is second nature. We fed our own children. Now we've got our grandchildren. They get hungry often. And sometimes it can satisfy them for a short time. Sometimes it's sustainable. So just be careful with your snacks. Try and make them have some fiber, some carbs, some protein, and that then lasts a bit longer. It also helps if it looks enticing. Because if something comes on the plate and does not look interesting, there's no way you're going to get them to eat it. But if it looks exciting and interesting, it'll be eaten in no time. So let's have a look. Fruit animals and cars. If you've got apples and grapes, putting chopped up apple and grape into a bowl and giving it to them as a fruit salad, boring. Okay, I'll eat a piece. No, I don't really feel like any more, or I want to go and play. But if they are playing and eating, they've got their cars made out of apple, they've got their wheels made out of grapes, they can race their car and into their mouth, and it is done. One of my rules, and it was a rule at school and it's a rule at home as well, is that whatever you put on your plate, you eat. So you make your choices carefully. Nobody's forcing you to eat anything you don't want. But if you've chosen to use it in your artwork that you're making or in your car that you're making, then it has to be eaten. And I normally give them a little bit of time in which to eat because often they'll have a piece and then go and play, come back and have a piece and then go and play. That's why it's important not to give young children, or even teenagers for that matter, a whole fruit because they'll have a bite. Something will distract them. The apple gets put down. By the time they come back, there are ants, or it's landed in the sand, or it's turning brown, or whatever. While if you chopped up your fruit into virtually bite-sized pieces or slices, they take a slice and off they go. They come back for another slice and off they go. And so you are actually saving money because they eat that fruit. Any leftover fruit gets put into a Tupperware or an airtight container for them until the next time till later in the day when you would bring it out again and they would have it again. So it really is a much easier way and a much cleaner, more sanitary way of doing your fruit with children. You can make your apple into a beautiful owl with just 2 little pieces of kiwi fruit and a strawberry. And if you haven't got a strawberry, the skin of your bright red apple works very nicely as the nose of the little bird. You've got thin slices of apple as the wings and a big round slice of apple as the body. You can put it on a pretzel stick, and now you've got your owl very happily sitting on his branch. You can make snakes or worms with a strawberry as the head and your grapes as the body. Tiny little balls of mozzarella cheese make an excellent eye. And then just a dot of a non-toxic pen can make the little dot on the eye. They can also come up with other ways that they want to. Little pieces of paper can be used as the eyes, all sorts of things you can use. But if you get edible ink and you get edible icing, and you get it in a little tube, you can get black edible icing. That is your ultimate best. Just a tiny squeeze of that black edible listen to me, icing onto it makes it absolutely 100% edible. So that is a super way of doing it. Another thing you can use as your eyes, of course, would be Fruit Loops, depending on the size of your strawberries. If your strawberries are very tiny, you wouldn't be able to do that. So these are just 3 easy ideas for you to be able to use to do your fruit. Now, the next one, lunchtime snack. You have a lunchtime snack. Now, this particular snack, my husband and I eat often. It is so delicious. It uses up leftovers and it is great to quick and easy to make. Mini zucchini pizzas. You preheat your oven and you put your zucchini in a single layer and you bake them for about 5 minutes each side in the oven. It becomes translucent. Then you know that it is almost cooked. Then you can put salt and pepper on it. I actually put that on at the start so that it is absorbed as it's cooking. Even a little bit of garlic for us. For children, I don't necessarily put the garlic in unless, of course, it's mosquito time. Then garlic is very good at chasing away mosquitoes. I know it's an old wives' tale, but it works. And then you can put your cheeses on top. And all you do is, and you can put mince on top. You can put pepperoni, little pepperoni, chopped up pepperoni. You can put salami, you can put chicken, anything that is left over, mince from the night before can also go on there. Then put your cheese on top, pop it in underneath into the oven again till the cheese melts, which is very quick, about a minute, and you are done. You can put pizza sauce if you like as on top of your zucchini. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But or a little bit of tomato paste as well also works very well. Then you just take them off your baking sheet onto your plate and you have the most divine pizzas with no bread attached to it at all. Very, very healthy, but delicious to eat. Other snacks you might want to make is you can take your cucumber and your tomato and some beans, and you can make trees, you can make pictures of different things that you've got. You can use a croissant and a sausage and cut up your sausage so that it's got the 2 ends are the pincers, little strips of sausage to make the legs. They can stick out of your croissant. You could also put bits of carrot sticking out of your croissant, and that turns it into a crab. Very nice crab. The only inedible thing that you have would be a pipe cleaner and with your eyes, but that everything else is edible. You can make a cat by just cutting up your bread into a circle and making two little triangles of bread from the leftover bread to be the ears. You put cream cheese on and then add whatever else you want to make your face of your animal. Also, let them make their own creatures. They love to create their own creatures. If you put down from the different bottles of onions or olives or strips, you can cut up the stuff ready for them, strips of a cucumber to make the whiskers, all those sort of things, then and pieces of salami for the tongue. You can have those around. They can then design their own picture, and they really enjoy doing that. If you're not sure which animal they've made and they haven't told you what animal they're making, just ask them what sound their animal makes. They're very quick to tell you, and that then prevents you from making an oops by saying something's a cat when it's a dog. You can also make just your hamburger that you were going to make, or your chicken burger, anything like that. Just cut the top bun up, split it open a little, and that makes wings of a ladybug. You can put little bits of tomato on it. You can put all sorts of things as the little spots on the wings. And they can also create themselves monsters using a variety of things. So it makes it so easy for people to be able to do. So when you've got, hi Melinda, lovely to have you in class. So when you are making snacks, the appearance of the snack, and you don't have to do all the work, they can create their own faces and their own bugs and their own beetles as well. But the mini zucchini pizzas are so delicious. As I say, Michael and I have them very, very often as a lunchtime treat. Now, carrots. Some children love to munch on a carrot. Other children don't. They don't like munching carrots. So this way you can get them to eat their carrots very, very easy. Simple, simple, simple. Shred your carrots. 2 cups of carrot, 1 cup of grated cheese, cup of breadcrumbs, some olive oil, a little bit of garlic or garlic paste, any of the garlic flakes, anything like that, and half a teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs. If you've got 2 children that you're working with, give them each a bowl and let them each make their own. It saves many hours of fighting, and she's had it longer than I have. This one has mixed longer than that one. And so the best way to get around that is for them each to have their own little bowl. You just split the ingredients in half, and then they are very easily able to make their own. And all you do is put everything into the bowl and mix it well. So it's not a difficult thing to do. And once they've mixed it, they each have their own little piece of baking paper on the baking sheet, and they put it on there. They can make round blobs. They can make any shape they want, but usually round is easy, and put it onto the baking sheet. And you allow this to then cook at about 425 degrees in the oven for about 20 minutes. And once you've done that, they come out sort of crispy on the outside, and you can stack them up or you can have them as individuals. They do freeze very nicely. They can easily be used later in the day or the next day as well by just putting it in the fridge. But these are simple to make and very, very tasty. Because it doesn't look like a carrot, for the children who are not into carrots, they are very happy to eat it, particularly if they've made it. And so they work very well as a snack at any time. Any questions? Okay. Now, who's heard of a cake with no cake? Well, this is a cake. It's made with pineapple, and then it's made with pineapple, yogurt, and cream cheese. You slice up your pineapple, And then you put as layers of the cake, the yogurt, the cream cheese, and you can also put some honey into it. And then your top layer of the cake is just the yogurt, cream cheese, honey mix, and you can put some sprinkles. They might want a single layer cake, they might want a double layer cake, and then you can cut it into slices and they can take it away to eat. It tastes absolutely delicious. And it's a fun way of using up some fruit, giving them their cream cheese, which is good for them, giving them their yogurt, which is good, and honey as well. So a very healthy cake to make. This one is a favorite with my grandchildren. They really enjoy this one. They, particularly when pineapples are sweet and it's pineapple season. Right, now, quick snacks and treats. The first picture we've got here is just a piece of rice cake, little rice cakes, those round rice cakes. You can get baby ones, big ones, whatever. And then onto that, I put a nut butter. Some children like peanuts, but if they are allergic or they're going somewhere where people might be allergic, it's better to use one of the other nuts because 90% of the nut allergies are for peanuts. Usually your macadamia or your almond nut oil is nut spread is fine. You can also do it with cream cheese. Cream cheese works very nicely with apple and even with your banana. So here we've got a few Fruit Loops to make the feathers. You've got your apple as your wings, two piece slices of banana for the eyes, and some blueberries for the dots in the center of their eyes. And those taste really delicious depending on what you've put as your spread. But any of the nut butters or any of the cream cheeses make it really tasty too. You can do your cherry tomatoes with little mozzarella balls. You can make wonderful little worms like that. And then as a tasty snack or dessert afterwards, you can make banana penguins. If you use dark chocolate, that is far more healthy than using the milk chocolate. And all you do is melt your chocolate and dip it in and pop it down the back of them as well. So you run your banana, half banana through it and a little bit at the bottom for the feet. And then in the front, you can put M&Ms or Smarties. They make wonderful fronts for it. You can also use those loops. You could use Fruit Loops, but you can also use this. We used to call them spearmins, round sweet with a little hole in the middle that can make the eyes of the animal and or of the penguin, I should say. And that is great fun to do as well. And so there are so many ways you can just turn a common thing into something really interesting for the children to eat. And you find they polish it off very, very quickly. Any questions? Right. Now, here are some other examples of what you can do with your fruit instead of chopping it up into little squares and giving it to them as a fruit salad. You can cut your fruit into different shapes and put it on the plate. Maybe some strawberries, maybe some blueberries, maybe some melon, entirely up to you, maybe grapes even. Whatever fruit you've got, you cut it up into thin slices and then you just put it in little bowls on the table. From there, the children then start to create their own design. One day you might decide you want them to make faces. Another day you might want them to make insects. Another day you might want them to make an animal. Another day you might want them to make a sea creature. And so you can tell them what the theme is for today's food. And they will then create butterflies and dragonflies and anything else that we are making. And they so enjoy this. They find this, at first they're a little reticent and they make something very, very simple. But remembering, of course, whatever they put on their plate, they have to eat. So they have to be careful what they choose, and they've got to make up their mind if they are prepared to maybe negotiate or have a little change on something that they don't normally eat, but they want it. So they put it on the plate and then they just eat it very quickly and then discover they rather like it. You can make your sea scenes, you can have underwater, you can make crabs, just using your apples. The older children, you can give them the whole apple and set the theme for them or the scene for them. Right at the beginning, they might say, oh, come on, this is so babyish. But as soon as they start to make it, they realize it's not babyish at all. It's actually very adult. And as I said right at the beginning, if you've got friends coming over and it's a lovely sunny day and you want to put out some fruit for them, don't just put out straight fruit, make it into something. It then becomes a talking point. You can also take banana, and if you cut your banana lengthwise, they can then put either a nut butter on or again cream cheese on it, and then they add different things. If you've got more than one child with you, they can then cut it into the number of pieces who's sitting at the table, and everybody gets a taste of everybody else's. And they can judge it. Oh, yes, this tastes nice. Somebody else will say, no, I didn't like that one. And somebody else will say, it's okay. Or somebody go, yes, this is my favorite. And so they get to taste different ones and different feelings, different consistencies in their mouths. Very, very important as they go along. Any questions, ideas, thoughts? Okay, now this is the fun page. This is what to do with a slice of bread. You've got a slice of bread. How are you going to present that to your grandchild? How are you going to present it to your friends? If you've got friends over and they've stayed a little longer and you think, okay, I'll give them some lunch. What have I got? Oh, I've only got 2 eggs. How am I going to make 2 eggs go amongst 4 people? Well, design a picture such as there at the bottom, we've got our ice cream cone. You've got the cone, you've got a few pieces of egg, you've got a piece of cucumber, you've got a piece of tomato, and you've got your mayo that you want to use at the top so that it looks like cream coming down, and you've got your cherry on top, which is whatever, maybe an olive or something like that. Now they can take their bread once it comes, you talk about what's on your plate, and they can then make their own sandwich using the egg they've got, using the mayo, and they can turn it into a really delicious sandwich. But the presentation on arrival is what has made it interesting and something they would like to eat. When you're doing a slice of bread or toast, you can turn it into any animal under the sun. And the children really enjoy making animals and insects and birds, just the head of the particular creature. And they then have fun putting ears on it, eyes on it, nose on it. What spread are they going to use on it? You can use avo, you can use salami, you can use cream cheese, you can use peanut butter, you can use any of the different things that you would put as a base and then put everything on top. If you've got a nice thin bun, you might want to cut it up, turn it into a butterfly. Put a piece of cheese, a piece of tomato, and a carrot up the center as the body, or a piece of celery as up the body, anything you'd like to put as the body of the creature, and then you've got your wings. If you're doing a Halloween theme for something or a witchy theme, you've got lovely little broomsticks you can make with a pretzel and bits of cheese where you've taken a thin piece of cheese, slice it, but not across the top. So you're basically fringing it, wind it round, and you've suddenly got a lovely broomstick. If you're wanting to make your toast into something interesting, you've got your toast. You can then bring out your meat that's inside or add an extra piece, a salami, some little bits of cheese to make the teeth, cucumber for the eyes with an olive, and all of a sudden you've got this amazing character. And the kids almost don't want to eat the character that they've got, or they're very quick to consume their character. You can also change your spaghetti into something more interesting than white or slightly brown or very bland, basically. By just adding a little bit of food coloring to the pot, you will then have that color spaghetti. So if you're wanting to make 2 or 3 colors, if you want a rainbow, you would have 2 or 3 little pots with spaghetti cooking in them. You start the spaghetti once it's getting soft, then you add the food coloring to it, and then suddenly it changes into a really nice colored spaghetti. You can also do spaghetti bolognese by having a biggish meatball and then the spaghetti around the meatball, and use some peas to make a necklace. Suddenly they've got a face and they're very happy to play with their face. Sometimes you can't find anything and you'll use M&Ms or Smarties. That will be the way for them to be able to do it. Again, using your bread, depending on what phase they are in. Often children are into themes. If they are in an underwater theme, they would make a fish, or they'd make a pirate ship, or they'd create something like that. If they've just been to the farm, they would make a farm animal. If they are very much into the cartoon characters like Hello Kitty and SpongeBob and Pooh Bear, then they would make those animals, or cars if they're into cars. And then the last one is you could make, if you love your wild animals, you can make it into a giraffe as well. So there are lots of creatures. And if they say, I can't, you can flash a picture at them just so that they get the idea, and then the picture's gone, because they need to create themselves. You need to get their creative juices working. They use so much time on the tablets and on their phones, they lose their creativity. And the idea is to try and slowly getting them back into using what they've got. And they all have wonderful creative times. And so if you can get them to do it, it is magic. And once they start, the older ones will go, oh, not for me today. Then they look and see what other people are doing. I just say, oh, no problem. Because sometimes the 14-year-old says, no, it's not for me. I say, okay, fine. And I start making something, and then you see the eyes coming across. Yeah, well, maybe I'll try and make one. I'll make something that's more adult. I say, go for it. And they will then they are in and they are creating all sorts of things. And suddenly it is a lot of fun and great to eat for a meal or a snack. Any questions? Right. Now, just a few more fun ideas that we have. We have using biscuits. You can turn biscuits into any animal under the sun. Little pieces of carrot, little pieces of cheese, some seeds that you have. Anything like that, you can turn these little biscuits into amazing carrots. If you're giving them Vienna sausages, why not just chop the end of the sausage, make the sausage in two, and then all you do is cut a little split into the legs. Using a toothpick, just prick the skin. It makes wonderful eyes immediately, and they stay. And then you can have a whole series of these little octopi busy running around on the plate, and the children can then eat there. They love playing with those, and well, not playing with their food, but having something exciting to eat instead of just a straight sausage in their hand. You can make fruit skewers and get them to do color combinations. Maybe you do the cool colors or the hot colors. Let them go from the light color to the dark color. Let them do a series, and then their friend has to copy it, or I have to copy it. But all of these things go for making really interesting snack time, as well as them being able to enjoy their fruit. The last one is something that my husband and I also eat quite often, either a bit of salami, a bit of ham, a bit of beef, anything like that. You take your cucumber as your base, bit of cheese, whatever I want to put in the middle, another little piece of cheese, cucumber on top. Makes a delicious bite-sized thing to eat. Got all the nutrients, got everything you want. You can put a little bit of mayo inside if you want. And now you've got this really tasty snack. So easy to make. Well, just chop up your cucumber, and your cheese can very easily be cut into these. Doesn't have to be exact, just a piece of cheese on top. Sometimes mine are thicker, sometimes they're thinner, depends on how I'm cutting. But it is the taste is what is so delicious with those. They really are yummy to eat. Right, before we go to the end, is there any questions? Anything you would like to say? Melinda, would you like to try any of these?
Yes, definitely. I'd like to try all of them.
But you don't have to only make them for children. They are just as much fun to make for yourself and for your friends. If you've got one friend coming for tea or something like that, or if you can't get together with your friends, you do it on Zoom. You say to them, right, today we're going to have tea, but we're going to create something exciting. We've got this, and this. How are you going to make it? And the two of you make it, and then you've got it. You've got one, and they've got one, and you've created something and made it. So it doesn't only have to be for children. You can certainly do all of these things with adults. And as I say, the zucchini pizzas are delicious. The carrot patties are also very, very tasty. So they are all, and the pineapple cake is fun as well. So there's so much that you can do with your friends as well as with your grandchildren. And
Yes.
I think we so often put things into pockets. This is for children. This is for adults. And that's wrong. It's not. It's for everyone. You can just dress it up or dress it down accordingly. But just
Exactly.
making something that is pretty or making something that's attractive to be seen is all that you need. So what are you going to try first?
I don't know. Um, yeah, there's so much to choose from.
Well, I do send you the recipe for the zucchini and the carrot, so that you do get as recipes. But the others, just to have a look and see all the different things that we have made. I mean, on this page alone, even for your own lunch, oh, I've got salami, I've got cheese, and I'm going to make a sandwich. How can I change that into something more interesting? Can I make it into something that looks like something different? Why not? If not, why not?
That's
Um, and even with you, if you have a scone, you can cut your scones in half and then in half again and turn them into butterflies. What a beautiful thing to do. So it can be used with all sorts of things. I love the little ice cream at the bottom. That to me is such a novel idea of you've got your bread, you've got your egg, you've got your tomato, you've got your cucumber and your mayo. And now it's arrived looking so interesting. Now put it together and eat it. So it just makes for fun and enjoyment of life. Eating multicolor noodles was an interesting proposition the first time I tried it. You kind of think, is it really noodles? But I mean, they obviously taste the same, but it's fun to do. Working with fruit, creating fruit creatures, making fruit pictures, um, particularly if you are chatting to a friend or to even your family, and you reminisce about something, reminisce about a holiday. Oh, we climbed mountains. We were up in the forests. Okay, right. Let's make your fruit has to represent something to do with the holiday. How are you going to do it? The sky's the limit. And they'll come up with some of the most amazing ways of representing their fruit into a picture and creating pictures. And there are so many examples on Pinterest of awesome ideas of how to create your fruit and your breads into interesting designs. Your quick ones are great fun. And then, of course, your 3 ones that we made. But this, to me, was the best of all. We really enjoy our zucchini.
Looks very good.
It is. It's lovely. It's our favorite in the evening, or sometimes in the evening, sometimes at lunchtime. So if you have any ideas, I know you visit quite a lot of my classes. I hope you're getting lots of ideas from them. I hope it's helping you to come up with creative ways of doing things. And so I hope that in future, as I think you saw yesterday, the toilet rolls I'm now changing up into more adult as well. So I've got a child one and an adult one. So there's lots of now ideas because that was some of the feedback was they wanted more adult things. So I turned it around and it became adult. It was a very quick turnaround, 2 days of trying to make things and do things, but it's a challenge and it's worth doing. So please feel free to let us know if there's anything else you would like to learn about or know about, or things that we could do for classes. It's trying very hard to create as many different ideas for people to come across something that gives them an idea. If you want a copy of the recording, you can get it at help@getsetup.io, and I will send you your email after the class.
I
Right.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Belinda, what's the time now for you?
In about 16 minutes, it'll be midnight.
Right, late time for you, very late. Well, thank you for being so patient and being up so late with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon for us. We're
Yes.
heading into afternoon of the next day. You're about to join me in the same day. But
Yes.
thank you so much for being in all the classes. I do appreciate it. Have an awesome night. It's bedtime now. Go and enjoy your sleep.
Okay,
Bye
thank
for
you.
now.
Thank you. Thank you
And
for
thank you,
another wonderful
James.
class.
And thank you, James, for being in class. Much appreciated too. Have a lovely night. Bye.
Too. Or day.